platforms.
Right.
So the first thing you need to do as a brand is to get yourself listed on Amazon Launchpad. Now, why is that important? Right, Amazon Launchpad obviously has gives you better opportunities to showcase your A plus content, right?
Mm.
But more than that, it's just a validation that there is demand for such products in the ecosystem. Right, you
Right.
definitely don't want to build products which no one needs, and
Right.
because the Amazon itself knows, understands, and analyzes keyword patterns day in and day out, they kind of really get to know if there is a rising demand for such products, and you have a product and that it's good for them, right? So
Yeah.
that's the first validation you get. Post that, let's say if the first thing you would need to do is try to understand the lay of the land, so which is competition and market sizing. So there are a lot of tools which you help you understand keyword trends, right? So why do you need to understand keyword trends? Amazon is more of a demand harvesting platform. It's difficult to create demand on that platform, right? It's very intent driven, just like Google search is very
Mm.
intent driven. Amazon is again intent driven, right? So it's a completely
Mm.
search driven platform, and hence,
Mm.
so people are coming there with a particular need, and you need to understand what are people searching for, what exactly is the need, as well as how many such people are there. So there are tools like keywordtool.io which are very helpful, which will give you if the trend is rising, if the trend is falling, what are the long tail keywords again, which is super critical to understand, because long tail keywords give you the attribute,
Yeah.
right? For example, let's say you are buying a dosa tawa, right? So they might search for a non-stick iron cast dosa tawa. Now you understand for a fact that okay, that's pretty interesting. Customers, for some reason, non-stick is very important. Iron cast is very important for a dosa tawa, right? And if you the keyword volume is pretty high, then you will use those keywords firstly to refine your product strategy itself. And the second thing you'll do is, if you already have a product, then you'll highlight those attributes in the content which you're putting up, right? So that's pretty interesting, and that's the first step you should do. And also, you should do understand what the competition is doing, what kind of keywords the competition is betting on, all of that, right? So that will come to
Yeah.
it later. Once you have done the market and competition sizing, the second thing you need to do is to focus on your own listing, which is title, description, backend keywords. Basically, all of this helps you improve your organic ranking on the Amazon search engine results page, which is Amazon SCRT page, right? Again, there are a lot of tools which will help you do that. These are all free tools. Like there is Productor, Merch Wizard, and a bunch of tools which will tell you what are the keywords you are indexing on, what are the keywords your competition is indexing on, right? And if those keywords are actually in line with the search volumes, then obviously you would be pushed up higher and higher on the Amazon organic ranking. So that's pretty critical for you to do. And the second thing, obviously, you would be focusing on is photography, and you will be adding a lot of review videos to the content, right? So photography, again, super critical, and reviews, again, super critical. All of them increase CTR and conversion rate. Both of them are directly, especially as a new brand, you need to establish the trust, right? That a trust comes from reviews. The trust also comes from showcasing great kind of product and content,
Mm.
and trying to target this exact need state, right? For example, as I said earlier, someone says non-stick dosa tawa, and you use that terminology very organically in your description. The customer becomes more and more confident that okay, you provide a genuine product, right? So
Mm.
that, again, that's very, very important. Uh, the the next part, again, is something which almost every other uh, founder ignores or takes for granted, but becomes one of the biggest pain points for any kind of founder, is inventory, right? So
Mm.
either they're left with too much of inventory, or there's too less of inventory, right? So
Right.
the general thumb rule is that you need to maintain at least 80% in stock rates, right, for your top SKUs, and at max 90 days of stock in hand, right? So now this is easier to say, but it's very difficult to manage. You need to have some kind of planning. Again, tools like Amazon PI will help you kind of balance that inventory. And obviously, there is inventory planning tab in your seller dashboard, which again helps you manage inventory. But this is the most critical, right? If you ask me, what is the number one reason for your revenue to go up or to go down? It's not marketing, it's inventory, right? So
Right.
so you need to focus on this. There's no uh, getting around it or ignoring this, right? If you get this right, then you have a great business. Again, if you're listing on multiple platforms, then there are again real-time inventory syncing applications like Unicommerce, which will help you do that, right? So you need to see if you can integrate with them. And uh, and the next thing, again, this is more of a hygiene thing, just to need to understand, because if your product if there are a lot of products which are very similar to what you are offering, then fortunately or unfortunately, pricing becomes a big factor for
Right.
customers to make the final decision. And Amazon is a very cutthroat, or any kind of marketplace is very cutthroat kind of ecosystem. So what you need to do is that you need to keep a track of your prices of all the SKUs in the category, right? So again, there are a lot of tools like Keepa or Camel, which kind of help you do that. And you can obviously take a dump of it and try to analyze, for example, how are different players behaving during, let's say, sale time, right?
Hmm.
What is the prices, what is the percentage drop in prices during Diwali, right? What is the percentage drop in prices, let's say, on Amazon Prime Day, right? Are they
Right.
really increasing the marketing spend, or are they dropping the price? So you kind of
Yeah.
understand the overall strategy of the ecosystem much before what you are trying to do, right? So you get to
Right.
understand, oh, you would assume that, let's say, for Diwali, people would have dropped their prices by 40-50%, right?
Hmm.
But what they have actually done is they've only dropped it by 5% or 10%, and then just jacked up the marketing, right? And okay, that's an interesting mix, because there are a lot of things you can do. You can play with discounts, you can play with actual prices, you can play with marketing spends, right? So all of this combined should give you the best bang for the buck.